Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Apex Greatness. I am your host, Russell Broderick. That way is Dario Albuquerque. So, you have it the wrong way today.
Oh,
Flip it.
It's this way.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Oh, it's actually right. How it looks on our Zoom. It looks like, okay.
You want to know why?
I like that.
It's so funny you bring that up. This is completely unrelated to the show, but I figured out there was something wrong with my Zoom settings, and it was mirrored, so that's why I kept pointing in the wrong direction.
All right, so could I always just do this way and you do that way?
I think it'll work.
Okay, that's good, because I'm tired of freaking having to guess this. We've been doing this shit. Guys, we've been potting for what? 5 months now?
5 or 6 months now.
5 or 6 months now, and we've been fucking guessing every time, and we get it most of the time. So y'all better love us for that, and y'all better like, comment, subscribe for that.
It's a credit to our athleticism. But what I was going to say, speaking of like, comment, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, our NBA preview is still going strong. I think the Wizards are the last team I put out, and today is going to be probably Miami or something like that will come out either today or tomorrow. So check that out. We're going to have every single team out before the start of the regular season. Yeah. That I can promise
you. Guys should really appreciate that and it's not for the fun teams.
No.
It's for the teams that no one gives a shit about.
We're grinding.
And we still showed y'all love.
We're grinding.
We still, for y'all weird ass fans that are like, that like the freaking, like, what's the team? Like not the Pelicans, the Hornets. Like, the people who like the Hornets, we gave the Hornets some love for no reason. So y'all should just appreciate that we for the culture.
That's what I'm saying. We grind hard.
Facts.
But we have a playoff matchup this week.
Yeah.
And it looks like I'm going to get my ass handed to me because I have Ezekiel Elliott, who looks like he's going to be questionable so far. And
he didn't practice all week, but he probably.
I'm banking on a Herbert resurgence, basically, to get anything. But what happened to you? Who'd you play last night?
The Rams defense.
The Rams defense.
And I played them in both my playoff matchups, and that shit. So I had a close matchup. I have a very close matchup in my other league as well.
Yeah, let's bring that up.
Just those little things matter. And seeing that pick six, my girlfriend was watching Grey's Anatomy while I was watching the game on my phone, and I jumped out of my fucking seat and was just going crazy when that pick six happened because I knew it was over. It was the beginning of my reign of dominance in this league.
Well, you actually got a huge break going your way because now you can play McKissick with confidence as he's going to be getting at minimum 10 targets a game from Check Down Alex. From my man, Big Check Down. And I didn't even notice that. That's going to help you immensely. And then the Rams defense spotting you with 20 points on Cam Newton's head. It's pretty fire.
That was freaking amazing.
But you were just talking to me about something off camera. You were having a decision between. I see you got both Titans wide receivers in here.
Yeah. And for anybody thinking that that's crazy, it's not. Like, they both averaging like 15 points a game. Like, so they're definitely just doing this shit. And Corey Davis just went off yesterday.
Yeah, he was wide receiver one.
Whoop this same girl's ass that I'm about to whoop this week. So
he was absolutely wide receiver one last week. Was Corey Davis? What do you have? Like 30 points?
35 points. Maybe in this league it's gonna show like 38 or 39, but for my league it was like 35.8.
That's crazy. Like, I didn't expect him to be wide receiver one. I figured he would have an okay game. I don't know why
I always expect. I'm like, I never try to think that they're gonna pop off like that. I'm just like, give me my 15 points and I'm okay. And that's all I need.
So that's your playoff matchup, right? And so you're looking at either.
I'm contemplating between taking out Godwin for Robbie Anderson, or taking out I know it's weird. Like, I'm not planning on taking out Corey Davis because he's the healthiest guy out of the three.
Wow.
And he's also been Tannehill's main target. Like he had 11 targets last game, and I think 9 targets the game before that.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's the guy that I have to trust the most.
Yeah.
But Robbie, I'm contemplating either benching AJ Brown, which last time I did that I got fucked. So I'm just like, AJ Brown got to stay even if he's partially injured, and I'm contemplating Godwin but Godwin might get all the targets because fucking Evans is hurt, but I know Robbie Anderson is gonna get all the targets, so that's why it's just like
it's a tough. Well, Denver's the worst matchup out of all the matchups you have.
Yeah, and
so
that's why I just felt like I gotta keep.
But AJ Bouye, I'm pretty sure just got suspended for PEDs, which is huge, because he's an elite corner. So,
and I just feel like the only thing between Godwin and Robbie is I think Robbie has more upside.
Okay.
Like, I think he has more of a chance of getting you 25 points than Godwin does. Because Godwin hasn't passed like 18 points this whole year.
I just think
I don't know.
PPR. It's hard to bench Chris Godwin, to me.
I know. It's like, I don't know what to do.
That projection he has for 15 points, that's PPR, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's completely
full point.
Fair. Yeah. And
he literally opens his eyes and he just gives you 15 points.
Yes, and you need these points from these guys to be consistent because you don't know what you're getting from Kamara here. You're probably going to get a Kamara light performance here out of McKissick.
Yeah.
But because of the Taysom Hill factor, you're not sure what you're getting here, and Pat Mahomes might not exceed his projection this week because Miami's defense is not horrible.
Oh no! I think I'm expecting a 30 piece from Mahomes.
Well, that doesn't shock me whatsoever. But I think that defense is elite at turning the ball over and getting to the quarterback. So
but the only reason I say that is because when Mahomes has a duddish game, the next game is usually like the last. And I was just looking throughout the year to see. And whenever he had a 20-point game, he follows it up with almost a 30-point game. It's like, so that's why. And then especially since they need to secure the 1 seed. If Steelers lose to Buffalo, they automatically get the 1 seed if they win this game against Miami because they'll be a game ahead. But then also because they already beat Buffalo earlier in the year, they have the tiebreaker too against Pittsburgh. So
very true. Okay. This is my season-long situation. I am the Butt Sex Mafia. I've been the Butt Sex Mafia for a very long time. You can judge me for however you feel about that name, but it remains the same. It's been my name since the start, and I'm proud of it. Anywho, I am playing in the playoffs a guy with a real name for a team. Now, you might wonder, is that his real name? No, it's not his real name. It's the name of a person in this league who I played last week, and I suffered one of the most devastating losses I've ever suffered in my fantasy career. Maybe the most devastating loss I've ever suffered in my fantasy career. I've never, just for perspective, the average points scored as we go through the other teams, 122 to 116, 106 to 72. This is our season winner. Just got a fucking cakewalk to the championship, right? And I scored more points than everybody else on the fucking week. Everybody else, except for my opponent, who knocked me out of the bye week and knocked me out of first place, obviously. So I'm now stuck in a playoff matchup with some of the worst fucking matchups you've seen in your life. I have 2 confident matchups. Like Dario, when I look at your team, I saw nothing but straight fire matchups. All greens everywhere. When you see me, you got Deshaun Watson against Chicago. Dalvin Cook, been great all season, carried me to dominance all season. Running back 1 versus Tampa Bay, one of the 3 hardest run defenses in the league. And I've been just letting passing go constantly in the last few weeks. So they're still tight against the run. I got Kenyon Drake. That was supposed to be one of my good matchups against the Giants, but now he's fucking hurt. So this is bullshit. Is my point. I got Adams against Detroit. I'm banking on 40 points from him. But that's the only way.
He'll give you. He will deliver.
At least
sure.
I didn't start Cam Newton last night over Deshaun Watson.
That was something we were talking. Weren't we talking about? We were talking about. I was like, you gotta stay with Deshaun because I was like, there's no way Newton was gonna do anything against the Rams.
And so that worked out. Yeah. So we'll see. I got to deal with David Montgomery against Houston. I'm sure we're going to talk about him. I got a break with Christian McCaffrey not playing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Does he have he had the insurance too.
Yeah.
So it was like it didn't even matter.
Just so people know, I've been in this league for 4 years or 5 years, and I am a 4-time league leader in scoring. And a playoff record of 0-3. I've never fucking won it. I've never won a playoff game.
You look like you got you might have it right now.
So we'll see. I don't count my fucking chickens until they hatch.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we have a hell of a week to get into. There's a lot of fucking games. So we got to get this show on the road. First is a game that we have some serious interest in, as we just alluded to.
Yeah.
With the Jacksonville Jaguars going against the Tennessee Titans. What do you expect unbiasedly? Try to look at it from an unbiased perspective. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
What I'm worried about happening is they go up right away and they just run the shit out of the ball. But I think I'm just so stuck on the old the old Tennessee way, because
I mean, it's not that old, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is they've had much more of a balanced offense this year than especially like compared to last year. It was run.
Yeah,
it was like you run 2 straight plays, and then if you have to throw, you throw it. Now it's like you actually mix it up.
Right. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Tannehill is significantly more of a threat this year than he's been before.
Yeah. And I just see a mix. But I see a lot of scoring though. So at least for the Tennessee side, like I think they're gonna just be scoring the shit out of the ball. So I see them scoring 30+ points against this team. So I feel confident in playing the 3 main guys there.
So you're saying like in terms of the passing game, you mean, or like?
Yeah, well, no, Derrick Henry, Corey Davis, and AJ Brown. I think they all.
Oh, you're talking about all the skill guys. Okay,
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
The three main offensive weapons they have pretty much.
Yeah,
and and if you're gonna do that, you obviously play Tannehill.
Yeah, if you're gonna stack that out, that's the way to go. I think
if I didn't have Glacier Boy, I would definitely have been trying to get Tannehill throughout the year, but I got Glacier Boy Mahomes, so I don't got to worry about shit like that.
I didn't think. I figured Derrick Henry was going to be 10 grand this week. But he Dudzillaed against Cleveland to the shock of me and pretty much the entire fantasy community.
Yeah,
Yeti season did not begin.
We were expecting just an onslaught of dick in face.
But sometimes that just means that we're a week late to shit. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're trying to lose now. Big time. They're giving up an average of 400 yards a game. An average. That is easily worst in the league. They are just they're like a leaky faucet that's just always dripping and always letting water run in terms of fantasy points.
Yeah.
However,
before we keep on moving, do you want to guess the over-unders? And
yes. Hold on. Actually, let's do that now. I'll say.
And this time, guys, I wrote down my over-unders and my stuff beforehand and sent it to my boy Rusty.
Do I have them? Okay.
Yeah, I texted to you.
Okay. So I'll just put it up. Okay. Yeah. I won't look at them yet, but we'll have them here. So you said it's Jacksonville?
Yeah. Jacksonville versus Tennessee at Jacksonville. What do you think the over-under is? What do you think the point spread is?
So 2 bad defenses, right? Tennessee's defense has not been strong from a just letting points up perspective, but sometimes from a fantasy perspective, they've been okay in certain matchups. But I could see this being, I'll say 48.5. And then I'll say Tennessee by 10.
Okay. So it's 52.5.
Yeah.
And Tennessee by 7.5.
Wow.
Oh, you got it up. So that's the post is.
I was like, how do I was trying to look at it without looking at the other ones, and I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah. So I had over under 51.5 and Tennessee by 6.5. So I was off by a point for both.
Yeah. So wait, it's the over under is above 50 for this?
It's 52.5.
Wow. So they said they feel the same way. They're thinking it's going to be 25, 20, 27, something like that.
Yeah.
I
was surprised because since it was at Jacksonville, that's why I gave it 6.5 because I'm like, it's about a tutty, and they said they have it at 7.5. So it's really like usually whenever I see a 7.5 spread, I just look at that as it's really 10 points because you don't usually have 8-point game. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I just look at what's normal in the normal realm of scoring and shit. But I guess, it could work out that way where it's 8 points. But
yeah. I'm looking at Mike Glennon because I'm just trying to think about it. Like he's 5,100, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for 4x, that's 20 points. Because a lot of times we're looking for 3x from our guys, but sometimes with quarterback because they have such a general floor for scoring, you kind of want to get to that 4 spot. So like, could he get 20 points?
So. And this is for our fantasy viewers who don't know enough about DraftKings.
Yeah.
Also me. What does 3x and 4x mean?
So, I will explain it very simply.
And DraftKings, sorry. I know about fantasy, just DraftKings.
So Mike Glennon is $5,100, right?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna translate that from to points, $5,100, 1x would be 5.1 points. Does that make sense?
5.1. Okay.
2x would be 10, right?
Yeah.
3x would be 15. And then 4x is 20. It's just you multiply it based on the salary. Mike Glennon was the perfect guy to do this to because he had a very easy right in the middle.
I could definitely see him doing 3x, 100%.
Yeah, because he's not gotten less than 3x so far. Is 15
and the whole thing,
18.
And the whole thing is you just got to think about the course of the game. Yeah. If Tennessee, which most likely will happen, Tennessee's going to go up immediately.
Yeah,
and he's going to have to throw. So it just makes sense.
If that's so that's the thing. Either because I know nobody's going to pick him, right? Like you're not going to pick a guy like that. And oh my God, speaking of the touchdown he had, did you see the touchdown he had last week? It bounced off a guy's shoulder. It bounced off one of the Vikings players' shoulders and then landed in the arms of Laviska Shenault.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was crazy. It was so funny. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I'm just looking at it like maybe there's a way to get different there. However, the guy who's a guarantee to score points on Jacksonville, is James Robinson. Win or lose, this guy gets his fantasy points done. The most safe floor of all these of a running back that's not super well known, he has the safest floor. Yeah. Like I love it. 7,500 so 3x on that would be close to like 23, 24 points. And he's gotten that in the last 2 weeks. So and like we said, Tennessee's defense not necessarily great at all. So I don't know. The matchup, the defensive game plan against this guy must have been for the last 2 weeks. We got to key in on him and stop him. And people haven't been able to do it so far. So I really like James Robinson, especially if you're going to do the Tennessee passing game. Like if you want to do this.
And it also makes sense because he's also has that the floor in targets. Like he had like 6 or 7 targets a game. Yeah, so like
very true.
That's Alvin Kamara-ish there too. Yeah. Like because Alvin Kamara gets you like 6 to 10 targets usually when he doesn't have a tight end thrown to him.
This is like Dalvin Cook volume because Dalvin Cook gets about this. Like I wouldn't say he gets Kamara volume, but he gets a little bit less than that. So like
Yeah.
Were in
Yeah,
the
something like that.
So
Yeah.
and they're using him as such, and that's that bell cow shit that even in positions where the team is losing, if you can find a bell cow running back in the NFL today, you will reap the benefits.
Yeah.
So I love this just as a stack. I'm not playing either defense. If you're really going to take a risk, take Jacksonville or take Tennessee's, because I'm pretty sure Tennessee's defense is going to be no, they're 3,100. This to me is unplayable because there's other defenses I could see having a way better chance of production, like the Seattle's against the Jets
Mm-hmm.
and Washington against San Francisco. There's a bunch of cheaper defenses we're going to talk about that I would rather play other than the Titans, and I'm not playing Jacksonville. But this is the stack I would go with just for a primary stack. I like that.
Yeah.
I
can't believe Corey Davis is 5,700. I feel like that's
cheap?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to make him chalk.
Interesting. He might be, especially after that game he had last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's more of a mix between him scoring that much points and him being that cheap. That's a chalk game.
Yeah, especially when you then include the third thing, which is the matchup.
Yeah,
it's just like true. That's really interesting.
But this is like, you want to know what's making me nervous about this?
What?
It's where everyone expects this to be an onslaught. And sometimes I feel like so many
trap
times
games.
that everyone, it's a trap game. But the whole thing is it can't be a trap game because they need a win out.
Yeah.
So like that's like trap games don't usually happen at the end of the season as much.
Especially with teams that like have to focus in like that, they don't.
Yeah.
But teams that are like coasting, like the Steelers with the Washington Redskins, which you accurately predicted last week on the show.
Thank you.
That was one of those where they were coasting and they played down to their competition and they paid for it,
Yeah.
So I definitely
my boy check down Alex hooked me the fuck up. I made money off that.
All right. Let's move on. Houston at the Chicago Bears.
What you got for the over-under?
I think, thank you very much. I think
oh my bad, I didn't know.
You're good because I would have totally forgot. I do it every time.
Oh.
The over under for this game is 47.5, and I will take Houston by a field goal.
Is that so? You got Houston by 6? I mean by 3.
Yes.
And then so it's over under 46.
Fuck.
And Houston by 2.
Wow, that's such a troll. I hate when that's
that's crazy. I had over under 47.5, just like you.
Yeah.
And I actually had Chicago by 4.5.
Wow. So then you might agree with me on this.
No. So I didn't. So the way I do it is I'm doing it based off of what I think Vegas is gonna put it at.
Right.
And more so than what I think, because I personally think Houston's not gonna have. I think Deshaun Watson's gonna do his thing against them, but I'm looking at it as Deshaun doesn't have one of his main weapons.
Yeah.
Chicago needs the win a little bit more than
especially after that loss to Detroit.
But I was just expecting Vegas to like more so look at it as that as well, and just like give Chicago the edge. But I'm surprised.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Mitch Trubisky game. I'm calling it. I'm official. I'm going on the limb. This is it. This is the game. Mitch Trubisky has a habit of really breaking people's hearts in the DFS community when he takes QB1 1 week out of the year. There was one, I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago or last year, he played Tampa Bay and threw like 6 touchdowns and just annihilated them.
That was in 2018.
Yeah, it's 2 years ago, right? So
yeah.
And then last year he had one game where he destroyed, and Houston's defense is the defense to make this happen.
Yeah.
I've never seen a defense worse than the Houston Texans.
All right, so I got a question for you. So is this mainly because you're hoping for that to happen? Because if that happens, that means Deshaun has to keep throwing. Or I
didn't think about that till just this moment.
Okay. Because I feel that, and I will root for that with you, bro. I don't believe in it, but I will root for it for you because I want you to win. I want to win
Look.
this chip together.
Look, now that you've said that, I can make light of it. David Montgomery is someone I'm going against in season long. And you want to talk about chalk? This week, he is going to be mega chalk. This guy has come off back-to-back games of over 25 points, right?
Yeah.
He is getting work in the passing game consistently. And Houston. Houston. I cannot stress this enough. When you need a good game, you play against the Texans. And a good game will happen. It's a guarantee. It happens every week. Houston's defense is horrible. And
so
I think David Montgomery's going to be chalk, and I'm not saying don't play him. Like if you need a cheaper running back, I think there's out of the people in his price range, I think there's a good reason to pick him. But what do we always talk about on the show? If we want to get away from something like that, the obvious pivot is to play the passing game, right?
Yeah.
And it's 3 dudes. It's 3 dudes. You can play Robinson and Mooney. It's going to be Robinson 100% because Robinson has been consistent all year long, getting targets. Doesn't matter whose quarterback is, right?
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney is the bomb guy, right? But he's been injured all week, and Trubisky does have he has a rapport with Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
Who has seen his production tick up in the last few weeks in comparison to where it was here. There's a couple of standout games, but most of the time, and these back here were with Trubisky. So
yeah,
I could see Anthony Miller being a guy who's 1% owned. And this whole thing is like you are taking your money and you're throwing it on fire when you put this lineup in. You're just saying this is lost money, and I just have to accept that.
You're closing your eyes, doing it, and then and just start praying.
Doing one of those, exactly.
So my one thing is, and I'm sure people are probably screaming as we're saying it, this is Deshaun Watson's first time going against Chicago in his career.
Okay.
And Chicago is one of those teams that were dumb enough to pass on Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and all those other good QBs that year and picked Mitchell Trubisky. And as we've seen, when Patrick Mahomes went against them, he still holds that grudge against them.
True.
That you had the nerve to pick this shithole over me. And I'm sure Deshaun Watson is a very similar guy.
Very true.
So I expect him and also that team to go on his back and say, we're going to get this W.
I'm pulling up right now what I wanted to look up was Chicago against quarterbacks this year from a points perspective, but I wanted to do it recently because as a whole, they've been a very good defense. But recently, they've been closer to the top of this list. Like if you... Bears, right? So the Bears, right? 301 yards a game allowed, right? Average of 3 touchdowns. It's this one right here. Average of 3 touchdowns. Not a lot on the ground, right? But if you're saying they're averaging, I think Deshaun Watson can get to that 300 mark, and in Draftkings, that's the bonus. So, from a points perspective, Deshaun Watson got you 20.
Is that total yards, though? Is 300 total yards?
No, that's just passing yards, quarterback yards.
Oh, yeah. Deshaun Watson giving you that.
Yeah, and he's gotten that. He's hit the 300-yard bonus 3 straight weeks. Yes. So I think there's a universe where I could play him naked, meaning you play him alone, like by himself, like similar to what I've talked about doing with Josh Allen a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Or you play him and you stack him with a guy like Kiki Kuti, who I'm pretty sure is still relatively affordable. Wow, his price jumped a lot though. It jumped from under $4,000 to now $5,000. And there was one other guy. saw here. Where is he? It was this white guy. He was this pretty boy white guy I saw. Where the hell is that wide receiver? This matters because he had this guy.
Yeah.
Chad Hansen had 5 for 101 last week. Played more snaps at wide receiver than anybody else on the field.
Wow.
3,900.
He was from the practice squad.
That's what I'm saying.
My man Deshaun was looking like Brady.
And this is against
bringing on guys
Indianapolis.
from
This,
Dorchester.
this defense is not shit in Indy.
Yeah.
Like, and he got 5 for 101. This fucking guy that looks like he could be my cousin. Like, it's fucking crazy. I just think if he's trying to do that stuff, you can always take a chance. Also, another guy to keep your eye on, Cordell Patterson. Not a lot of receptions, right? Not a lot of receptions. Very true. But rushing floor.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing rushing floor for whatever reason. And again, Houston. Houston. White dog shit against all fucking offensive players. So, yes, I'm praying for a shootout because I need Deshaun to throw. And if that happens, then this is the Mitch game because of how bad Houston's defense is. So I'm mark it down. This week, Mitchie Trustin, top 5 fantasy quarterback. I hate my life. I'm not happy about it. This isn't something that brings me joy to say.
Yeah.
But it's something I believe in my heart. All right.
I feel that.
All right. Let's move on. Denver at Carolina. Please over under me, sir.
What do you want me to go?
With
mine? Or
you go first. You go first.
All right. So I had the over under for that one at 48.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Carolina by 3. It's at Carolina.
It's Drew Lock, who plays okay, right?
Yeah.
And
Carolina's defense is type ass.
Yes. They're like middle of the pack statistically, but when you watch them play, it's like never anything impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, considering the COVID stuff with the wide receivers here, I'll say, and no Christian McCaffrey, 44 for over under, and I'll say I'll take Panthers by 6.
Okay, so you got me on the over under. It was 45.5. So
fuck,
you was close on that, and it's Panthers by 2.5.
What is it with the twos this week?
Yeah, well, I thought it was gonna be a closer game because of all of that. Like that's why. But with the over unders, I was thinking like they could still put up points because Carolina's defense is bad and stuff. But I guess they're looking at it as it's gonna be a low scoring game. So that kind of helps me because they're looking at the Tennessee game as a higher scoring game, and they're looking at this Denver game as a lower scoring game. But the whole thing is, if the lower scoring game and this guy's getting all the volume, then it doesn't really matter if it's a lower scoring game because Robbie is going to be getting.
Yeah, I was about to say. About to say, who exactly is this guy?
That's why I figured I should probably start speaking his name.
Bobby Anderson, 75 catches this year. I'm sure that's already a career high for him. A guy who was notoriously a bomb guy on the Jets has completely changed the perception of who he is as a football player this year with some of the things he's done, just being the underneath safety blanket for.
And he's top 10 in receiving this year too, receiving yards.
He's been fantastic. But here's the thing.
Could I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I need whoever's watching, if you have some time, comment below and let me know. Should I put Robbie Anderson in for Chris Godwin, AJ Brown, or Corey Davis? Just let me know.
True.
I need to hear other people's opinions.
Yeah.
And I just want to hear what you guys got to say.
Yeah, because I don't fucking know what to tell you either on that one. So yeah, definitely leave that in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the other thing about Robbie Anderson. I can't imagine he's going to finish this season with only 2 touchdowns. I just can't believe it. Yeah. I just don't expect him to constantly have, this is some Julio Jones shit.
Yeah. You want to know what was crazy? So I was smacked the day that he was that they were playing, and I go, and literally, I'm just watching on my phone through the ESPN thing, and you know how it just shows like the little arrow thing of them of like the person catching the ball, whatever, and
Right.
saying, all right, this person caught that, and I see it's like 40 yards away, and I'm like, and it was like third down and 5, and I'm like, yo, just throw a bomb to Robbie, and then I see that it says, 44-yard touchdown pass to Robbie, and I'm like, yo, am I really?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that shit really
do you know what the
happened.
fucking? Did you watch the touchdown?
No.
It wasn't even a bomb. He caught a slant and took it to the house.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
He didn't even. He did the old Odell. What Odell started to make popular in this era. It was really T.O. before that, but what do you call it? I really like Robbie Anderson this week. Another guy I'm hoping plays really well because I have him in season long. And a guy I expect to get this touchdown regression fixed. And we talked about AJ Boye being suspended for PEDs. That's a huge loss for them. When he was out in the middle of the year, this was a team that was something I attacked wide receiver one wise. Like they can be attacked, and it's something to look at. And my whole thing is I just don't know if they can get all the points on the board because of the injuries on both offenses, right? Well, really the Panthers offense, because it's like McCaffrey, who I really thought was going to be back for this matchup, he will not be back. You have Mike Davis, who's not horrible as a substitute, but we know that he can come and play really hard, and then he can come and have okay games. The guy who Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore being out helps the most is this motherfucker right here, who will be all over my lineups. Because it's the one guy that nobody thinks about, and he's another guy, much like Cordell Patterson. When Christian McCaffrey does not play, he has a little bit of a rushing floor, and they like to use him in the red zone.
Yeah.
So, I love Curtis Samuel. I wish I had him in season long.
He's another one of those Swiss Army like knives.
Exactly. I love those guys for fantasy, especially when they're put in those positions.
Yeah. Do you see anybody from Denver being like? Do you see is this dude Tim Patrick is someone no one talks about, and he's clearly the best receiver in that team. Like
he's
at least
obviously
right now,
the number one. There's no getting around that.
Like
he's
I don't understand.
Number one.
And it's not even just last week. I had Tim Patrick,
look how consistent he's been all year. Yeah. This is a solid year.
Like I actually had him earlier in the season, but obviously you saw I had a lot of receiving depth, and I was like, I'm never gonna play this guy.
Right.
So I had to get more running backs. But he was a guy that I had early in the season because I saw that, and it's just like I feel like I never play him in Draftkings when I should. Like if I know that he's getting volume and obviously they're gonna be down all the time, so they clearly
that terrible loss I had last week. I learned aggressively about Mr. Tim Patrick, and this is just fucked up. Fuck this bullshit. And he's gonna get 70 from Waller and Carr. Ridiculous. At least I made money off that. Fucking all right, but yeah, I like Tim Patrick a lot. Another guy who's getting a lot of targets there that's not Jerry Jeudy is KJ Hamler, if I can find him, who's minimum fucking salary, right? And gets 5, 6, 10 targets, no less than 5 targets for minimum salary. Like, just if you need something different. Like, Carolina's not a defense to be afraid of.
Yeah, because when you look at it, if you go on that 3 times, 4 times, if he could get you 12 points, that's
what I'm saying.
It's worth it. Like you got your money's worth, and you still get to bring in all the other, like, because obviously if you're going for a minimum salary, guys, because you paid up in other places. So you get the guys that you want to pay up for, and you still get your money's worth for that minimum salary.
What do you think about Melvin Gordon against Carolina, a defense we attack on the ground a lot?
I like Melvin Gordon this week.
Do you worry about the lack of rushing attempts? Because that's something that I always wrestle with in my head.
My whole thing, like he was, I didn't understand why they didn't just keep. Like they didn't run him the whole game against the Chiefs.
That's notoriously how he's gotten fantasy production is
his volume, right?
what they were doing with him in these kind of games, over 20 carries. Because for the
Yeah.
Chargers, he was a under. I'm pretty sure it was under 5 yards per carry type guy, and he just got all this volume. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting fantasy production and a lot of goal line shit. So
Yeah.
I just don't.
And they paid him a good amount of money too, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had because he left the Chargers for money.
Yes,
So
yes, they paid him in the offseason to come. But it's between
so it's like, why wouldn't he be a main running back? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Because there's a guy there that's fucking electric, and when he doesn't have the confidence to be electric, it shows. But Philip Lindsay is the real deal, and you want to talk about a guy who would be awesome as a bell cow? This kid, I just like his talent. He's one of those guys that I just think has all the talent in the world, and didn't really make sense in the offseason why they got Melvin Gordon. But hopefully against Carolina, Melvin Gordon at $5,200 can score you some points. You know what I mean? Like against Carolina, $5,200, we're looking at 3x is 15, right? So he's gotten that anytime he's been in a matchup against a below average run defense. Like Atlanta's pretty good. Kansas City twice he did his damage, right, in division. The Jets. So we'll see. I mean, if it's going to be like that, I think they'll take the ball out of Drew Lock's hands as much as they can and run it with Melvin Gordon. Yeah. Like a cool stack for this, a logical stack, bang, 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 and then this, and you're good. And even if you want to put Davis in, you can too, because he catches the ball out of the backfield a lot. But that's perfect. That's where the targets are going. That's where they're going.
That's where most of the points are probably going to be.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like this is you want to talk about an underutilized stack, it's going to be this. Mm-hmm. And even if you want to throw Davis and Patrick in there and totally game stack it, like there's no reason
Robbie
not
could
to.
Be chalk though. I feel like a lot of people might go for Robbie because
how much is he? I
6,200.
Usually guys over 6K. I don't know. I just think there's not a lot of evidence to show that all of a sudden Robbie's just going to get everything, especially with Curtis Samuel being there too. And
the only reason I think that he will is because the coach said it.
The coach said what?
The coach said that he's going to be a heavy part of the offense.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading that now.
Than usual. Yeah. That's the only reason that I could see it, like people saying, but also if people don't have like the Sleepers app or Fantasy Life, you guys should get that if you don't have it. It helps you out a ton.
We don't even we're not even paid by them. You should get that.
Yeah, seriously.
But look, look at the guys around him. You got Godwin. You got Amari Cooper against Cincinnati, right? You got Devontae Parker. You got Corey Davis at 5,700. Sauce, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, 50.
There's guys around there that maybe make him not so much chalk.
Yeah, I guarantee that Corey Davis is going to be chalk. There's no way he's not.
I could see it. I could see that easily being a thing, very much. But I like this as a main game stack. Now that we kind of broke this down, I think I'll take the over on that. On that
44.5.
Yeah, they're definitely doing over than that.
Oh,
one of these teams is getting a 30 points. So I think for the other team to get to 20 would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. Sneaky shootout game. Sneaky shootout game. That's the fun part about going through these games is like I figure out, and we figure it out together as an audience, like where some of these sneaky plays can go. So that way, when we take stuff from a game like this that we're going to talk about right now, that everybody's going to be on.
Yeah.
It'll be.
And this is probably going to be a televised game and everything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to be on this one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for the over/under?
I'll say 55.
Okay.
And because usually the big marquee matchups are usually 55 and over. And then I'll take. This is a tough one because Bucks have sucked, and Vikings are like okay, but definitively worse. I think than the Bucks right now. I'll say Bucks by.
It's funny because they're literally only a game difference. So Yeah.
Oh,
And
so
it's
this
just,
is like a kind of a huge game.
oh yeah, yeah. Wait, time out. To give you some background
Yeah.
information.
Thank you. Thank you.
If Minnesota beats Tampa Bay, Minnesota will be in the playoffs and Tampa Bay will be ninth.
So they take their spot.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
take
God.
they
So
drop
so
twice, yeah,
whatever.
2
So
spots.
the over under could be 60, and I think I would take it. Number one, and number two,
Okay.
I will say Minnesota by 3.
Okay.
It's
So
definitely not, but in my heart, it's Minnesota by 3 because
gotcha.
I really think that they're gonna blow
Yeah.
it.
So it's the over. So I had the over under 52 and then Tampa Bay by 4.
Uh-huh.
And it's the over under is 53 and
Wow,
the over I mean the it's Tampa Bay by 6.5. I was surprised at that.
wow.
I don't see them winning by a touchdown.
I don't see them winning. Talk to me about this though. Talk me out of this, please. Please explain this to me.
So the reason I'm going with Tampa Bay over Minnesota is
Yeah.
because the way I look at it is Tampa Bay has been consistent all the way through with their run defense. And I think
Okay.
don't get me wrong, I don't think that
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook's not
that scares the fucking piss out of me.
I think Dalvin Cook still gets you his 15 points, but I don't see Dalvin Cook it definitely not worth 9,400.
Yeah,
And
I totally agree. I wish
yeah.
I wish I didn't agree, but I can't disagree.
Yeah. So my whole thing is they're gonna make Kirk Cousins throw all the way through, and I just see Brady. This is a must-win game for Tampa Bay. They just came off of a bye. The defense is gonna be fresh.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So that was a big thing.
That's
for me.
why.
So
But that's why they're up 6 and not 3, because of all the things that you're saying about Tampa Bay coming off the bye.
yeah,
Shit
and
like
the
that.
matchup is it just works out like. And I'm assuming no one believes in Kirk Cousins. That's the biggest thing. Which he's been pretty decent this year.
Like he's been really awesome in the last month and a half. He's been awesome. Like only 2 interceptions and 3 touchdown games in 4 out of 6 since the bye week. That is fucking awesome for Kirk Cousins.
The only thing is the defenses that he went against besides Chicago have been really bad.
Yeah, and that's where he threw his picks. Or had his worst game out of these. And Green Bay, who's got an elite defense. So, but dude, this is the problem. Tampa Bay to start the year was awesome everywhere, and we made light of it here on the show because this is a team that I absolutely violated through the air, from a fantasy perspective in years past, and this year they tightened that shit up to start the year, and nobody on the outside was scoring points against them. And then Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp lit them on fire. Yeah. Like literally set their house ablaze. It was incredible. And then Tyreek Hill came in and doubled it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you got Jefferson and Thielen coming in.
I'm surprised they had elite. 4 points. I'm surprised they had 4 points against Kansas City. They literally put Patrick Mahomes put 460 yards on them, and I know they put a good amount. 500 yards was put on them defensively, and I don't understand how they got because they had a fumble, and that's it.
Justin Jefferson is more than Adam Thielen. Can you believe that?
Well, that's because he's actually the wide receiver 1.
Wow. Well, he's definitely
the bomb. He's the better one. I mean,
if we're talking about, well, I don't know if I agree with that, but what I will say is he's definitely the more likely to have a Tyreek Hill type game than Adam Thielen, because Adam Thielen plays the slot and he's usually the underneath stuff, but Adam Thielen, I'm not ready to say that Justin Jefferson's better than Adam Thielen.
I was just being a dick. But I honestly think those guys make a difference in the teams like that. Like, I think if they didn't have a guy like that, it would make Thielen worse. But I also having a guy like Thielen makes they bounce off each other really well because he's pretty much he fills in the Stephon Diggs role. And the craziest part, because I saw a stat on this, so they traded Stephon Diggs and got a pick, and they ended up getting Justin Jefferson with that pick.
Right.
And if you put the stats up between each other, they literally have Justin Jefferson's actually doing better.
Yeah, But it's not. Is it like by a lot?
He has 3 more touchdowns and
Right.
a couple more yards. So
Yeah.
so
but it's also
kinda,
the way he just totally took the Diggs role from it. But did they do?
Yeah.
Did they look at Diggs' numbers from last year and did that?
No, they just looked at
that would be interesting.
They
That
looked
would be
at this
really
year's
interesting.
production between the two. Yeah,
that would be interesting because he literally took the role on the team. So it would be interesting to see.
Oh, he
Diggs had
definitely
a
is
really
doing
nice
better
year.
than Diggs last year.
Yeah,
I think. I know Diggs had a lot of bomb games, but this guy's been way more consistent with bomb games. You know what I mean?
So, do you like the Kirk Cousins, Jefferson, Thielen stack? Like
over the Brady stack?
Yes, that's basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think
if you're gonna Brady stack, who you Brady stacking with?
So I'm going Godwin.
Right.
And we've talked about this multiple times. I'm going AB this week because I think so. AB's been in the offense for about 5-6 weeks now. Yep. They just got a bye, and I think this is the time where AB just like explodes.
Can you explain to me why he got taken out of the offense last week? Can you explain that to me?
I really don't understand. I thought he was gonna be. I played him. No, I didn't play him last week. No, I didn't. But did I play him? No, I did. Yeah,
something similar.
I got fucked. No, it wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. That's why, because they had the bye last week. So I played him that week because I expected him to go off, and he fucked me, and he got me out of my. I would have had a bye right now. I would have to be worrying about this right now. And I guys, I played him over AJ Brown. Like, am I an idiot or what? Like, you got
no, but
comment below and say L. Like, you could put L's there because that's what I deserve is an L because fuck. But
listen,
I don't understand
the Antonio Brown thing is interesting because I don't know why I forgot about this, but Tampa Bay is coming off a bye week. I totally forgot, and
it's because it's so late in the season.
And Mike Evans was injured, which means he missed a couple practices.
Yeah. This is like perfect storm for AB.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the perfect type shit.
But it's also
AB.
Yeah, and then it's also a Gronk game too, though. Yeah.
That was the other guy I was going to bring out. Which Minnesota is the type of defense that can let all this happen.
Yeah.
From a passing standpoint, they are rough, right? They have Harrison Smith, and that's about it. But Brady has to fucking show up. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, right? It's whether they can rush the quarterback. But even Kansas City, who couldn't really rush the quarterback, when we talked about it beforehand, they still showed up, and Brady still had. The only reason he put up over 303 is because he had to, because they were literally throwing the entire game. You know?
Yeah, yeah, but the whole thing is, he's. All we care about here is true fantasy production. Like we don't we're not in the what happens in the game doesn't really matter. He's more than likely gonna show up because one, this matters the most. So they have to be on this shit right now. And then two, it's just perfect for them to go off because Minnesota's defense is ass. And he doesn't have a pass rush. If you look at it, he's really done really bad against pass rushes. That's when you see that his actual fantasy production goes down.
True.
Rams,
that's happened several times.
The Saints pass rush. Even the Giants pass rush.
New Orleans, I'm convinced, is because of Jameis Winston giving him all the plays. But I definitely agree. Chicago, Khalil Mack, Green Bay, same kind of situation.
So the only thing that...
But they also didn't need to do a lot against Green Bay.
Yeah, the only reason with the Saints, I don't think that's the thing is because there's reports that say that Brady's been calling the offense for weeks now.
Yeah, but they still have to have just because he's calling the offense just means he's calling the plays he likes out of the playbook.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like they might be able to figure that out. I like this stack, and my whole thing is with this game, if you're gonna stack it. Everybody's so priced up; it's hard to do bringbacks and whatnot. But if I can do it with Pat Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey, I can do it here. So I'm gonna try. Yeah. Let's see.
I was gonna say I would definitely go with the Kirk Cousins stack and do a bringback with AB because I think that would be a easier, cheaper one. And because
If it is.
I also think that you're gonna have to guess with Brady a little more. Because what if? Because pretty much you're just banking on Mike Evans not doing shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah,
But
I would not put Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is not worth the money.
Yeah,
I would actually go Roy Jones. That's what I was gonna say.
Roy Jones, Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones.
But he's knocking him out like Roy.
Well, no, they call him Ro Jones.
Oh, Ro Jones, like Rojo.
Yeah, Ro Jones. Yeah.
I thought you said Roy Jones, like the boxer.
Oh, no.
But Ronald Jones is one of those guys that's like, I never know what I'm going to get with him because I never know what his volume's going to be.
Yeah, but I traded him, so he's definitely going to go crazy. Yeah, that's just what happens. I just give up on guys, and then they fucking go crazy.
And they go off. Because
I don't trust. I
they're
think
gonna run the ball
team,
at some point. So I mean,
yeah, I think the team thinks Ronald Jones is the better running back. I think that's there.
Well, Leonard fucked himself with one. He had one game where he dropped like 3 or 4 passes, and it was just terrible.
Yeah. So if I was gonna pick a running back, I'd go Ronald Jones over Dalvin Cook this week, just for not saying that he's gonna do better than him. I'm saying more so he's gonna get you more bang for your money.
Yeah, so 3x on 61 is 18, right? So really, in that case, I round up in that scenario. I'm looking for 20. So like, if he gets 10 carries, he's not getting 20. Like this one catch for 37 yards and a touchdown is very fluky to me. Like the passing down work isn't there because usually Leonard gets that work, and they both kind of done nothing with it. So that's the thing is like, the rushing on this team has not been efficient, which is why I think it's going to be strictly a throwing game. But it just seems like this whole situation is going to be chalky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. There's going to be a lot of people on this.
Yeah, like that's why I just think I don't think Jefferson and Thielen being over 7,000 scares anybody.
Yeah, they're worth it. Or at least, like to me, Jefferson, especially since I traded the freaking prick, he's gonna average 25 for the rest of the freaking season.
Yeah, he's been on a fucking tear. It's true. But
I traded him when he was going against Chicago, and he just went off. But I did it on purpose because I wanted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. So
and that worked out real well with his 0 last week.
And I still did what I had to do. You want to know why? Because fantasy management matters.
All right, Arizona at the New York Giants. Fun fact about this game: the last time Chase Edmonds was in this scenario, he absolutely shit on the world and dropped like 36 points and 3 touchdowns. I brought this game up earlier in the year when Chase Edmonds was getting the solo role against Miami. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's going to do that now, but I just thought that'd be fun to bring up. But I think, what do you got for over-under? You go first this time.
Okay. I had the over-under on that game was 46.5, and I had Arizona by 2.
Okay. I think the over-under is probably, I don't know. I'll say 49, and I'll say it's
at
the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say Arizona by a field goal. I don't like the 2s. It's going to be 2 though.
Okay. No, you're right. It's Arizona by 3. And,
yes, I got one right. Yes.
The over on this 45.5. So I was off by a point.
I feel so proud. This is like the first time I've ever got one on the money. I'm so proud. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So, with that said, I think Kyler Murray is in for an interesting day. What do we know? What do we know about Arizona? For sure.
They don't throw the deep ball anymore.
Do we know that for sure?
No, I was just.
Here's the one thing that we know for sure, and you're gonna go facts as soon as I say it. They play fast.
They play fast. Yeah,
they play fast, really fast.
But they haven't been playing fast lately.
Right, and it's been costing them victories.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
But you want to
And
know, you realize why, though, right? It's because
I
you don't got Speedy Gonzalez here running around anymore.
yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
he was the one that made
understand. I don't understand why that happened.
injury.
But
We,
that
I,
means but that would make more sense about the deep ball shit that you were talking about before. But like if that's the case, in all seriousness, then he shouldn't be playing because you're
yeah,
costing your team wins.
so let's think about this. Why did he get the shoulder injury? Because it was him trying to run out of the pocket and they caught him and he fell on his shoulder. And
Yeah.
I think they're trying to. I'm pretty sure his shoulder's still fucked up.
Yeah.
Probably not as fucked up as it was that game, but they're looking at it as we can't put you in harm's way. At the end of the day, this is his second year in the league, and they're gonna plan on this guy being their franchise quarterback. So you're not gonna put your franchise quarterback in harm's way.
Well, then I'll take the Giants by a touchdown because they're not winning. I said it before. I said this last week. They're not winning games. They're not going to win one game until he starts running again. They're not. It's not how their offense is constructed for short passes and Kyler's read option. And without it, they are not the same team. They're under 500 ball club. They're just, especially when you consider the injuries on defense.
Yeah.
But
what's crazy is he was over here looked at as an MVP candidate just 4 weeks ago, and now he might not even make a freaking Pro Bowl. With this performance, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy, and it's clearly because I don't understand why people are or anyone is like looking past that. Like he was clearly an MVP candidate. He got injured, and then he doesn't look like that anymore. And I think that's clearly you have to look at that as the reason, and it's showing in his game. And this guy's getting frustrated as fuck.
Yeah, which guy?
DeAndre Hopkins.
He's getting what? I didn't. Wouldn't do. Where
frustrated. No, I'm saying he's frustrated. Have you seen him during the games? Like he's actually actively complained.
Well, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened in the last game specifically, and we talked about it last week. DeAndre Hopkins has an amazing history against Jalen Ramsey, right? And and Kingsbury and Kyler Murray were just playing the game and going, Hopkins is being guarded by Ramsey. I'm not going to put the ball in harm's way. I'm not going to throw it to that side of the field over to Hopkins. And what you saw on the sideline last week was Hopkins going, I own this motherfucker. I own this guy. Every time I play him, I destroy him. He can't guard me. Just throw me the damn ball. and in the second, I shit you not, in the second half, he had 10 targets, 10 out of these 13 targets. And he got in the end zone on that. And they started to come back. This week he plays James Bradbury, who is not as good as Jalen Ramsey, but is an elite corner. I'm playing Hopkins this week at low ownership. There's a universe where he gets over that 20 spot. They're not going to make that same mistake twice. They're not going to do it. And he's going to get his looks, and he's going to get them early. And I think they're going to be in a good spot by the end of the game. Because they like to play fast, and there's no getting around it. They're going to get points. The only question is how. So I like Hopkins this week. Even though Kyler only threw for under 200 yards last week, he still got 3 passing touchdowns. So they're going.
Do you see? So you see this game going to over?
Just because I just can't imagine. Like the Giants' defense is very good. That's the X factor here.
Yeah, I actually see this game going to under.
Yeah. Okay.
I see this game. I see this as more like a 20.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, this is the underprice of the century right here. Yeah. The Giants' defense is $2,600.
Yeah, I see this game more as like a 20 to 17 ball game. Like I don't see it going. I don't see both teams scoring 20 plus points. Like how many times has the Giants scored over 20 this year?
It's better to go to Daniel Jones. Not very often. A few times. But they really thought their identity for a while was to move the ball quickly, right? And so I'm trying to find somebody with the full. This is pretty close.
Shepard would be.
no, not Shepard, because he was out too. This guy. Slate. Okay, so 12, 17 to 12, 17, 19,
Yeah,
27 to 17, 23. They had a streak of getting to 20. There was that streak at the beginning of the year where they were sucking on points, and then they scored 30 against the Giants, or against the Cowboys, because everybody does.
Yeah.
And since then, they've been about middle of the road, but their defense has been elite. And they're at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guy has been elite.
Yeah, I think that's the game that they want to play. They want to run the ball, play good defense, and I think that is a perfect matchup for it too. Unfortunately, because I'm facing that freaking prick this week.
This man right here, this sexy bastard.
Yeah,
Wayne Gallman, 5,700 has hit 3x pretty much every time he's been asked.
Yep,
has been competent, gets work in the passing game and the running game. Absolutely destroyed Seattle last week on the ground. 16 for 135 yards. I love Wayne Gallman, especially at home. And with a backup quarterback.
Yeah. Is Daniel Jones not playing?
I'm pretty sure he's out again.
Oh, if he's out, then there's no way that Giants are winning that game.
They beat the Seahawks last week.
Yeah.
With this man. Look, they did. He only threw 105 yards. Only threw it 20 times. 9 fantasy points. Still won 17 to 12 against the most high-powered, against one of the most high-powered offenses in the league.
Yeah, if he goes in and beats the 2 MVP candidates during the year, that'd be hilarious. Insane.
What a troll!
That would be that'd be the funniest shit.
Kenyon Drake has been awesome the last month in terms of getting fantasy production. He is also questionable, but he expects Kenyon Drake to play. This type of shit where you're added to the injury report late bothers me.
Yeah, it's scary.
And like I just said, Chase Edmonds does have a history against the Giants of destroying. So watch out for that. Sunday morning. Just watch out for that. If Kenyon Drake doesn't play, Chase Edmonds at 46 is a complete smash. And people are going to be nervous to pick him because the last time he was the bell cow, he didn't do a lot. But it's the Giants. I don't care how good their passing defense is, and I don't care about any of that stuff. Especially if you're telling me Kyler's not running, it's a guaranteed 20 carries for him.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about that. Now we get to Dario's favorite part of the Draftkings show, where we talk about his Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, we lit. You want me to? I could start off with the over on this everything. All right.
Yeah, go for it.
So I got over on the 50.5, and I got Chiefs by 3.
Okay. Only 3. I'll say Chiefs. I'll say Chiefs by 7, and I'll say over under of 50. It's got to be at least 50.
So it's actually Chiefs by 7.5. I can't believe that. Like, that is disrespectful. Mainly because I think people should look at this game as Miami's at home. So you automatically lose the 3 points, whatever. That's about a tutty already. So they really have the Chiefs by like 10 points here, like being 7.5, right?
Yeah.
And like, I would have expected Miami to be a closer game, especially because of the defense. But they're just looking at it as their offense can't score on them.
And they're so well coached.
Yeah. The Chiefs.
Yeah, obviously the Chiefs, but the Dolphins are so well coached.
Yeah. Like, I think that's disrespectful, but it is, and it's 50.5. I actually, that was one that I got spot on.
Here's the thing: there's no way this is hitting the over if Tua's the quarterback.
Yeah, if it was Fitzpatrick, I'd have it more at like 55.
And you'd be like a hair nervous because this team is good, and if the defense showed up, it would be insane. But if I were you as a Chiefs fan, I can't even sweat it at all. This is an instant win with Tua as the quarterback. Like, there's no getting around that for me. However, What is your Achilles heel of everything on your team, offense and defense? What is your Achilles heel?
Our Achilles heel
Yeah,
is the run game.
precisely. And Myles Gaskin is fire.
Yeah.
And he's guaranteed to get this style workload. And because Ahmed is out again, and which means he'll be the only guy. And every time he's the only guy, he gets a workload that justifies his value of only 5,600. The Chiefs,
Yeah.
a very much a run funnel, as you just alluded to.
Yep.
Giving up way more yards to the run than the pass this year.
Yeah.
I love Myles Gaskin in the classic Chief stack of Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce.
Another
and
guy I
work
think
around
we should mention, because I think he's going to have a big game, even though I'm benching him. Yeah. Which I feel like I'm just doing it more because I'm safe. If you want to be safe, then sorry. Yeah. But I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they're gonna give him a full workload this week. He was out last week because of a stomach bug.
Right.
And he did during that span he did lose some weight. That was the reason they didn't even play him. Right. But I think they looked at it as Le'Veon didn't do shit with the workload they gave him. And this is a team that is actually gonna try to get to the quarterback, and you don't want to just throw all over the place against their secondary. Right. So I think they're gonna push for way more running, so that they could do a lot of play action and all that other bullshit. So I see Clyde Edwards-Helaire being a factor this week. 5,900, I could see him getting 18 points, but
dude, I know you're going to say I'm hating, and I'm really not trying to hate. Yep. There is a universe where Miami plays really well here. They're at home.
Yeah, I know.
The Giants out here. They're at home.
Yeah.
And Mahomes, not that he plays bad on the road, because he absolutely does not. A lot of these games, especially the ones that matter, he steps up for. But, like, there are instances where he does do less production on the road, right? Baltimore is an exception. They're a big team. Like, but I've told you this for a week or so now. If they look at Miami as like an easy game,
they won't though.
They will pay for it.
They know. So this is the reason I don't think a trap game would have. And I think I said this last week too. A trap game would have came earlier in the year versus. So they're already 11-1. They're tied for first place. They need first place. Pittsburgh is going against Buffalo. If they lose that week, if they lose this week and they beat Miami, they automatically get first place. Right. Even with a loss to New Orleans the next week, like this game is so important to them, every game moving forward. And then my next thing is, when you really look at those away games, I could break them down to you, but he hasn't really had one bad away game. Like when you look at the Denver game, the only reason he had a bad game was there was a snowstorm and they were up by a ton, so he didn't need to go crazy. But all the other games,
I didn't say the games were bad. I said they were less productive. That's undoubtable, because they are.
Which ones?
Okay, Las Vegas 25, which is low for him, right?
He had 348 yards with 2 tutties.
I just said lower performance for him. That's all I said. I didn't say bad. I just said lower comparison to him at home. In several of these
Buffalo
situations.
was a weather game too.
Both I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. Games. What I'm saying is, Miami's defense is top 5 in the league right now. They are extremely good, and they have made good offenses look very bad. And I'm interested in that. I'm interested to see what they do because this is the same guy who was the.
So what good quarterback have they won against and they done good against? I dropped Miami for this playoffs because I think they're done. Personally, so they went against. That's not a good. Like, I'm looking for a good quarterback they went against.
They held Herbert to 21.
Herbert is not Mahomes, especially with all those weapons like that Mahomes.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do.
Like, they went against Seattle and they did
maybe
bad.
It's a situation like Arizona in which they won, but it was 34-31. Like, but they still did their thing defensively. They got to the quarterback. They were making turnovers. You know what I mean? They had a defensive touchdown. Like these
the
things,
Chiefs don't really turn the ball over. Like you have a team that plays clean as fuck.
Don't really is still a situation where they can. It's not. Nobody's perfect. Like
he's been part. Like I'm not even
riding sack now,
bro. He's only had he's had 3 turnovers the whole year.
So you just
Patrick Mahomes has had 3 turnovers the whole year.
I understand, but I'm just saying. I think that there's a matchup where they could be looking through. Might be looking through a team that has not made the playoffs, right?
Guys,
like
don't play Miami's defense. Trust me, and because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are gonna put 35 on them. I guarantee it.
But I want to see what they do because I'm not sure. I'm not so sold on that. I'm not so sold on them putting up 35. I think it'll be a close game though, and I think it'll be a more.
I'm not even gonna say anything during the game when it happens. I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna let it. I'm gonna let my homeboy do his job. He's already solidified his MVP run, but he's just gonna have fun for the rest of it because it's done. It's over. He's winning MVP and they're getting first place, and we good. I'm gonna be good for my playoffs.
Well, they might not get first place either because they're still in second. So we'll see. But I just think that is a trap game waiting to happen. So we'll see what happens. All right. Dallas and Cincinnati. Dallas and Cincinnati. I moved on. All right. Dallas and Cincinnati. What do you got for over-under?
Over-under, I got 47. And I got Dallas by 2.5.
Really? Even though they're on the road? Like, this is just a toilet bowl of a game, but I'll say, what did you say for the over-under? What did you guess?
47.
I'll say 42.
Okay.
And I'll say Cincinnati by 1.
So it's 42.5. You were really close.
Yes! Let's go! These garbage teams.
It's Dallas by 3.5.
They deserve it. This is the Andy Dalton revenge game. Andy Dalton, 5,500, has been serviceable in the games that he's played from start to finish, right? Like, he's going to Cincinnati, a place that he called home for a very long time.
Yeah.
And he's playing a defense that I assume he's played against a lot in his career, just in practice and shit. Like, it's a different coach, but he played for this coach last season, so he should know. You know what I mean? Like, he should have an edge here. So, and from a cheap quarterback's perspective, you can do this and you can stack it with Gallup and Amari Cooper. Both these guys have been nothing but consistent with Dalton as the quarterback. And then pick your favorite wide receiver, be it Boyd or Higgins.
I'm going Boyd.
Because you want to talk about two defenses that can't play at all.
Especially that freaking that secondary of Dallas is pretty ass. Not to mention the run game too.
Everything. They are the least motivated team in all of football, in my opinion. They play some of the most lethargic, horrible team defense I've seen this season. Them and the Texans. But the difference between them and the Texans is the Texans, it's like you got J.J. Watt, he's just old. And like prime J.J. Watt probably could save this a little bit. But in Dallas, you have all these guys in the prime of their career that are like good at defense. Like Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith. And like it just is. They look like one guy out of 11 is trying to tackle them.
They haven't been good at defense for like Van Der Esch, sure, but Jalen Smith hasn't been good at defense for the last 2 years. Like he's been pretty ass.
They've been fine. I don't know about that. They've been fine.
No.
Especially when the team's winning. Like when the team's playing okay, like they are fine. This has not been this bad. This is like extra bad. They have not been bottom 5 or bottom 3. Like
you want to know? No. Time out. The reason they haven't looked as bad is the defense has been bad for the last 2 years. And if you go back, the only reason that it doesn't it doesn't look that bad is because Dak will have a lot of those games where he's just throwing to get them back into the game, and then it looks like a closer game than what it was. But
No.
like
I'm completely acknowledging that was all this season. What you're saying with the
no,
comebacks,
that was last season too. That was last season.
I don't. Are we sure about
You
that?
could look it up, bro.
Yeah, I do want to look it up
Dak Prescott.
because I don't believe it. Because I know it's been happening this season a lot. Like it happened. That's why people were like, get this man paid.
That was last season.
No, it was the start of this season. It was literally the start of this
literally
season. They came back against Atlanta, right? They came back against what do you call it? They had to do a comeback against Cleveland, same way, right?
That whole narrative was of him getting paid started last season. Right. He got the franchise tag at the end. Look at all the oh, it doesn't show how close the games were. That just says he had a bunch of shits that was super close that he would get he was getting blown out, and then he would throw to get the ball back to get back into the game, and he'd go crazy. Like he has a bunch of 40, 30-point games there.
Yeah, but that was really happening like every single game to start this season before he did the ankle thing. It was happening in the middle of this Giants game before he snapped his leg. Like it was like a month straight he had to do that, where the defense just put them in a huge hole to start.
Bro, that's been happening for the last 2 years. Like
okay.
you could,
well,
we could
I have
if you
no
want, we could stop and.
Happening. But so I'll just take your word for it. So, either way, I just think that this is a game where they find some sort of motivation to get Andy Dalton this win. I think.
Oh, I'm not banking on that for this team. This team don't find. Their coach died, and they didn't care. They still came and fucking did shit. This team is horrible. Like, I'm not banking on freaking Andy. They don't give a shit about Andy. Andy Dalton got popped.
Remember in the middle of the year when you were like, I think the Dalton's defense is getting better.
Yeah, but well, the whole thing. I also thought Belichick's defense was ass, and I came back and said that the defense is better than we think. Like it just.
I don't even know if that's true because the Rams ended up killing them anyways. I think he's just good against young quarterbacks, like you said.
Yeah, well, yeah, but freaking the Andy Dalton thing. Washington popped him, gave him a concussion, and no one gave a shit. Like if you remember that. Like, literally, he got popped, and it was an illegal hit towards the end of the game, and no one gave a shit. So you telling me this team is going to come back and be like, yeah, we're going to fight for our guy. Like, no, they don't give a shit about this guy. They don't care about the red rifle.
The red rocket. You don't even care about him.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But I don't see this fucking guy doing anything.
I wouldn't even touch this game. Like, if you guys want, put Tyler Boyd in there, and maybe. Do you think Bernard is gonna do something?
No, because he hasn't in a long time. If I was gonna play anybody, I'm playing the Cowboys side of it because at least when the Cowboys get blown out and fucked up, their guys get fantasy points. Like Cooper every week still manages to have average.
Wait, Tom, you don't think Bernard is gonna do good against this horrible ass defense?
I think Bernard's had so many opportunities to have. Look at these defenses he's gone against. So the Giants,
good ones.
Well, yeah, in the last month, I guess so. But like, if you look at the numbers, like Washington's elite against the pass, not the run. But they do. I don't know.
No, they're good.
It's the box. It's that box method that you always tell me about, with everyone stacking the box for this motherfucker. Because like you just have no faith in this dude making it rain. However, if you're really on the Dallas Cowboys doo-doo train, then he's 4,900. He's yet to hit 3x. He's yet to hit 3x.
Oh,
I'm not even gonna say his name over our airwaves. You're just gonna have to read it. You have to look at the video and read it.
Yeah, I'm not touching that guy.
That's what I'm saying. So
Bernard,
something has to happen in this game.
Yeah, I think Bernard will be worth the money also because I'm going against him, and I know he's going to do good.
Because this is your life.
Yeah, that's just what happens. Like
here's the only thing I can say for sure. If Zeke Elliott doesn't play, he's expected to play. He's expected to play. But this is a 1 o'clock game. If he doesn't play, Tony Pollard is fire. Tony Pollard is fire. He's fast. He's explosive. He's the type of guy that gets 5 touches in a game and still ends up with a 50-yard touchdown. Like, he's awesome on special teams. If special teams yards counted, he'd probably have more fantasy points. Definitely more fantasy points on the year.
Yeah.
But if Zeke's going to play, then I expect this offense to just be a lot of stagnance with Andy Dalton throwing to Michael Gallup and Cooper every once in a while. A lot of that. So, just a game that no one's going to be on, no one's going to like. But there is narrative there. So, take with that what you will. I found a couple of other value quarterbacks before we got there that I liked more than that, though.
Yeah. Definitely don't touch any of those games.
Oh, Seattle, the land of rain. Oh, we're on to the afternoon. Oh my God, look how sexy this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in the late window. Love it. Fucking love it. Seahawks, Jets. This is all. I'm just gonna do this before you come up with the over under really quick. I'm just gonna get this all set up, ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. You were saying?
What do you think the over-unders are?
The over-under is going to be Seattle scoring 35 points. So I'll say it's 45. And then I'll take Seattle by 14.
Okay. I got Seattle. I got over under 48.5 and Seattle by 10.5.
And
it is over under 47, and it's Seattle by 13.5.
Ah, I knew it. I was like, this is a 2-touchdown game if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't realize that it was at Seattle. I think I was thinking of it as at New Jersey. So
right.
I was just
Now, do you remember when your team played this Jets team, and everyone was off Pat Mahomes? Remember that? When people were like, they're just going to run it with Clyde. Clyde had been on a roll, right? And what did we say sitting here on the show? We sat here and we were like, that is not going to happen. They are going to throw. That's what they do. They have to.
Oh yeah, because this is the Le'Veon game. Okay, I remember. Yeah, because I was like, I don't even remember the Chiefs playing the Jets.
Yeah,
we don't give a shit about them.
And what happened? Pat Mahomes came in there, threw for 350 and 3, and destroyed. Russell Wilson needs a get-right game. He has had an awful month. If there's ever a time to get right, it is against the New York Football Jets, the worst team in professional football. And it's going to rain, too. The only reason, if this rain is bad, if the rain is really bad, then
please be really bad.
Then you're playing Chris Carson.
Yeah, and if the rain is not really bad, 100% play DK Metcalf because he's gonna go off because I'm going against him. I guarantee it. He's gonna go crazy, and rightfully so because he probably should. But I hope it rains. I hope it pours. I hope God just pisses on them.
But Chris Carson is somebody I called for a good game last week against the Giants. Even though the team as a whole didn't have a good game, he still delivered with 20 fantasy points.
What's the rain looking like? Can we check?
Yeah. Rain early, then remaining cloudy with showers in the afternoon. High of 40s. Chance of rain, 70% so far, chance of rain. And it is Seattle. Seattle is known for their fucking rain.
Yeah.
You know? So hold on. If I go to my Windy app, I'm pretty sure they will check for... I don't think it's going to be very windy over there. And they play kind of in a dome, so it doesn't even matter. But
they play in a dome?
Yeah, they play like in a half dome type thing. It's weird. Wind isn't usually a factor there, put it that way.
Yeah.
But
I pray for downpour, man.
Yeah, either way, you're getting points from this game. And Russell Wilson, if the rain is not as bad as they're saying it is, or if it's just like casual rain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson should be played in all formats. And don't be fooled by the Sam Darnold hoax of last week. Don't be fooled. I played him in the single entry because I knew that Las Vegas sucks at defense, even when they're trying very hard.
Yeah.
They are terrible at defense, and they almost blew that game against the Jets. But
Yeah.
my man, what's his name? Is it Brad Williams?
Something Williams, I know.
He had an all-out blitz and let my man Ruggs get a touchdown. Thank you very much.
They needed to assure that that Trevor Lawrence pick.
That ass.
Yeah,
and
there's no way that shit was not rigged for them
Seahawks defense only 3K against the Jets. I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an easy one. That's at least they scored 9 points in back-to-back weeks. I think.
And this is and this is also is this Jamal Adams?
Jamal Adams revenge game. Attaboy. Yes, correct. Even more of a reason to play Seahawks D. And they're going to be motivated to fuck the Jets up. Because that team will get up.
Because I remember, and also the coach of the Jets, I don't know if it was Adam Gase or the defensive coordinator, but they had said Jamal Adams is going to be bored in Seattle's defense because they play so much zone.
Yeah.
So, and Pete Carroll says at least we win. So I think he's going to want to fuck them up.
That's totally fair. That's good. Yep. I'm with that. I didn't even.
You always got to hear about the locker room material, man. That's the type of shit that makes these things go.
True. All right. Next up, we're in a dome. The Las Vegas Raiders, who somehow almost lost to the Jets last week, going up against Indianapolis, who has played awesome, fucking awesome. In the last few weeks. I am going with my heart, and I say we're getting another T.Y. Hilton week. I just think I'm just on this. I'm on this kick now, and I need him. Much to what you were saying earlier about Metcalf going off against you or whatnot. I need this man to go off. I need him in my soul to do well.
I hope he does. I picked him up.
It's just like, look, Crowder destroyed the secondary of Las Vegas last week, and I just think that they could totally do it again. The only way that they don't is if they get up big and then they run the ball, because this is definitely a team that will run the ball when they're up big. We've seen it over and over again. The problem is they have 3 capable running backs to do that, and you never really know who's getting all the fucking looks, and it's very frustrating for me as a fantasy owner. Like Jonathan Taylor at 5,800 will probably get you to that 20 points this week, but I won't be playing him because I'm scared, terrified to play. Like,
as Russell has said before, he doesn't like those running back by committees
at all, especially when you can get Kenyon Drake for 5,700 at the same price, or Myles Gaskin at 56, or Gallman at the same price. Like, I will not be playing Jonathan Taylor, but there are points to be had with Jonathan Taylor. I will say that.
Yeah. What do you have for the over under?
Over under, right? I think I'll say a higher score. Honestly, let's say 51, and I'll take Colts by 10.
By 10?
Yeah.
All right. I had the over under at 48 and Colts by 2.5.
Yeah, what'd they say?
The over under is 52.5, and it's Colts by 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's
it's at Las Vegas. That's the only reason I thought.
Yeah, and the only reason I thought is just I literally looked at it and they were like, and was like, they almost lost to the Jets, who was trying to lose. Like that. Yeah. That's like.
Well, they weren't. That game, they weren't trying to lose. They played significantly different in that the beginning part of that game than.
You're talking about the Jets?
Yeah.
The Jets have done that a few times now this year. They did it in prime time also, where they.
Well, they usually go down a lot and then come back.
Yeah.
But they started off hot, and then you could see that they were starting to just let
They
keep the
played the
score.
Patriots on Monday night, and they did the same thing they did last week. The Patriots, when they played remember that? They did that on
No,
Monday.
I don't. I don't watch the Patriots and
They played the Patriots on Monday night, and they what do you call it? It was exactly the same thing. They didn't they went up huge because Flacco threw a bunch of passes to Perriman, and then what do you call it? Then the Patriots ended up having to do a last minute comeback, and then the Jets figured out a way to lose at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was insane. It was like they found new ways to lose every single week. I like the Colts D here. We haven't talked about a lot of defenses. I really don't like what I've seen from the Raiders at all, and the Colts D has been nothing but consistent all season.
Yeah.
And they're nice cheap price, 3,200 is great.
Yeah.
There's no defense over 4K this week, so you're really looking fine at any defense you want to go. But I like the Colts definitely.
Yeah, I can see that, especially Derek Carr has had a pretty clean year though. So I mean,
yeah, like he's had a better year, but in the last few weeks, outside of the Jets, he's played subpar. Hold on, let me get him. Derek Carr. So he's got that 35-point game against the Jets. Well, actually, kind of looks like every other week type shit. Yeah. 35 then 4, 22 then 7, and 15, 12. Like, it's because sometimes when they get up like this, Josh Jacobs. Oh well, this was that Cleveland game with the terrible weather. Josh Jacobs comes in and just rapes face, and so that he's not needed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the Colts. I'll take the Colts.
You're gonna you stack the Colts?
Yeah, I'm just doing like something like this, and this is even risky, just because you never really know what the Colts are going to give you. But I like Ty, and I like Pittman's okay. And then if you're going to do like some combination of this, but for me personally, I just don't play Colts. I just it's scary for me to play Colts from a fantasy perspective, but I do think they're going to win handily. You know what I mean? Because it's just a whole team by committee. Even Phillip Rivers in goal line situations comes out for Jacoby Brissett. Like, it's crazy. They have a whole team by committee.
Yeah.
But I'm praying for Ty to get points. That's really my main thing. Please, Ty, play well. There's definitely going to be one lineup I have that's like my season-long lineup. But I'll try to make it in Draftkings as close as I can. Just in case. You never know. Fucking, all right. Yeah. Green Bay at Detroit. Oh, my Lord. First, I'll take Green Bay by 11, probably, or more. But I'll say 11. And then I'll say the over-under will be, probably 53 and a half.
Gotcha. I had the over-under at 51 and Green Bay by 6.5. It's over-under is 54 and a half and Green Bay by 9.
Green Bay by 9. That's not as high as I thought they were going to
be. They're at the Detroit, so yeah.
I love Davante Adams this week, like with a passion. It's the only guy on my team that I like.
Yeah, I trust that.
Last time he played. Oh shit, I'm bugging. I thought they were that last time he played Detroit, he destroyed them. But last time he played Detroit, he got hurt.
Yeah.
And this was the Aaron Jones show.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was his Aaron Jones 48.6 point performance.
They just flip flop.
He had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I love Davante Adams, and I love Pig Papa Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think this stack is money. And if you want to do like Lazard or Tanyan, whoever you like more.
Yeah, I like Tanyan more for that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think he likes Tanyan a lot. Like, and he's been very consistent throughout the year, I feel like, with Tanyan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like Aaron Jones in there too. Like, I feel like a full Packers onslaught is is totally fine. And you could do a bring back maybe with like Marvin Jones or
here's who I was thinking for bring back,
Hawkinson.
honestly. Because of how much Green Bay is
Swift.
a run funnel, Swift is coming back this week.
Yeah.
And he was a full practice participant, and when he left in week 10, he was dominant and getting all the work and was really great at running back for them. So
yeah,
I like that. Aaron Jones does get enough work in the passing game to justify picking him here. So I definitely don't hate that. I like all these guys. I just don't. Maybe not. I don't know. Tanyan's tougher for me to play, but the mini stack, he's played well, I guess. He's gotten a touchdown in 3 straight games.
Yeah, I mean,
and somebody
when you
besides
look at it,
Devontae Adams has to get the ball at some point.
he's getting 3 to 4 times. Like the thing, if you're looking at his
the price.
Yeah.
If the 3x is 12, right? So 3x is 12. He's getting
about 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's getting 13, 17,
amount.
15. Yeah. So basically, you get in the end zone with Tanya, and you're pretty much hitting your value more often than not.
Yeah, and you're gonna get Green Bay's gonna be in the end zone a lot, especially in this game. So you got a shot, and you pretty much get all of the touchdowns there from Green Bay.
Yeah, and I think you might be able to get all of them from Rodgers too. This is a guy who's been completely dominant.
The only thing is this could possibly be one of those. The only reason I don't think it'll be a trap game is because it's division.
Yeah, but I was about to say that. That's the only reason I think so too.
Yeah,
but otherwise, I understand what you're saying in terms of that. But here's the other thing: Detroit's defense is just not great. They don't even have one guy that I can point to and say he's valuable.
Yeah. But the only thing about division matchups is weird shit happens because of that, because of this bullshit division shit. But Green Bay also needs to win. They need to win out.
Yeah.
In order to
they put up 42 on them last time.
Yeah, because if they want the number 1 seed, they definitely need to win out because since they lost their head to head with the Saints.
True.
They need to win the next 2 games. They need to win 2 games and be ahead of the Saints by 1 game. So.
Damn, there's a lot of hammers here in the afternoon window to bring down.
What Aaron Rodgers should really do is go to those State Farm commercials and give Patrick Mahomes a fucking handshake because he's about to give the Saints one of those L's next week.
Promising. All right, well, all right. Washington at San Francisco. Over under 42. Again, I think this is the low one. And I'll take... Yeah,
so you had the over-under was...
I think it's 42.
You said 42.
And I think I'll take San Francisco by 2.
Okay. I have the over-under as 43.5 and San Francisco by 3. And the over-under is 43.5 and San Francisco by 3.5.
Wow. See, that's
really close.
That's
close
solely because they're the home team. That is a push if I've ever seen it. I have no idea what the score of this game's going to be.
Yeah.
And especially with no Antonio Gibson now.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Were you gonna have to go against him this week?
Yes. And I have McKissick. So it's just like it's
a double whammy. So here's the thing. Fred Warner is an amazing
face. Brittany, I hope you're watching this. That's to you.
That's for you. But look, Fred Warner, elite defensive linebacker, specifically at coverage for the San Francisco 49ers. That is the only thing that potentially scares me a little bit about playing McKissick, because maybe they just he shadows him, and that could be trouble. But other than that, I don't see any way in which McKissick doesn't get at least 10 targets here this week. Just like Alex Smith peppers that dude with just targets.
Tell me a little bit more about that guy, because you're going to make me contemplate playing a layer over McKissick with what you just said.
Okay. So, I will show you. The easiest way to show you is to go to my little website that I like. San Francisco against running backs, it's specifically, is very, very, very good, right? Let's pull it. So since week 8, 49ers. And this is really just concerning McKissick. So oh my God, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? What was that? All right. Hold on. No, I'll just remember to take that out. All right. 49ers, they're here. 77 yards a game on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But this is what I'm focused on. Not a lot of touchdowns, 44 yards a game to running backs, which is higher than most, actually, if I were to sort this up. 44 yards a game. That's good for top 10, actually. So, you know what? I take it back. This is why I love this website, though, because I can research stuff like this. And they on average 6 targets a game go into the backfield, right?
Yep.
And that's McKissick's game. That's literally what he does. That's the job description for this man.
Yeah.
And I love McKissick this week with no Gibson. Smith trusts him. You already know that that's there. You know. Peyton Barber might get more of the carries, but I don't like
and
that.
And he gets more goal line carries too.
McKissick,
but they oh no, Barber.
Yeah.
But they specifically said he was going to take a bulk of the load this week.
Yeah. But I still expect him to get. It's just crazy the amount of targets he's gotten in a game this year. It's ridiculous. Like, man got 17 points and 8 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Because he had 10 catches. Like,
he's just a wide receiver.
Yeah. This is Kamara. This is essentially rookie Kamara. Because rookie Kamara really didn't give you anything in comparison. And then as it built, he started like smashing on the ground. That's the only difference here. But like, what do you call it? I love McKissick this week. There is the legend known as Raheem Mostert, who, like, the system. We talk about the system of San Francisco based on outside running. You know, when he gets his workload, he does damage. I just like him. I just like his game. He's one of the fastest players. Definitely one of the fastest running backs in the league. And I don't know. I just don't know. Washington is good, but on the road, they've been exposed. We looked into this. And they're traveling cross-country. So
this is making me sad. You giving me.
I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault.
I'm going with my heart because I've noticed that before the games start, I do mid changes and it fucks me.
Yeah.
So this time I'm like, I'm not fucking myself.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna play it how I have it.
Just make decisions based on what you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't play Alex Smith. I wouldn't play Nick Mullins. I'd think about playing San Francisco. Nah, this is my version of a stay away game because McLaurin could play well because Diggs played really well against San Francisco last week as the wide receiver 1, and McLaurin is obviously going to get the same kind of target volume.
Yeah,
but and he's coming off a pretty bad game against Pittsburgh, so I like that at a cheaper price. 67 is not too cheap, but you might get like 7,500 worth of targets for 67, which isn't terrible.
Yeah.
But that's it. That game's kind of a stay away for me as a whole, though. Outside of McKissick and McLaurin.
I don't really see. Because both it's gonna be a very defensive game.
I think so.
Yeah. Like, I could see them definitely going under that 43.5.
Yeah, I see this being like a 17-19 type game.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. New Orleans Saints and the terrible Taysom Hill going against the Philadelphia Eagles and new quarterback Jalen Hurts, who I thought about picking up in season long because I love quarterbacks that show me something week one. That even if you're fucking coming in for a quarter, you come in there and you sling it. And I like that shit. You don't do what Tua did, where you come in and you just hand the ball off a bunch of times. You come in and you fucking sling that shit. I love it. I love it. I love Jalen Hurts so far. I hope that he's able to do something here against New Orleans. But New Orleans has been really, really good all year.
So my only thing about that is the circumstances that they were in.
So talk to me.
The Jalen Hurts had to sling the ball because they were down by a lot.
Definitely
and
fair.
that was they had and also the team didn't game plan against him.
Right.
Tua, when he came in his little series when they were already winning in Miami, and then they had the bye, and then he started as QB. I think they were just trying to protect the kid too much. I don't even understand why. Like, I don't think Tua's that bad, but but Jalen Hurts and Tua actually have history.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Tua took the job from Jalen Hurts
Oh, that's right. That's how. Yeah, I remember that very briefly. I'm not a big college guy, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's the only reason that I continued on with that Tua point. But in this game, I look at it as one thing only, and I just think Saints are going to dominate them because Saints get to the quarterback, and one thing that the Philly has done consistently is let their quarterback get sacked.
Interesting.
At an alarming rate. If you look at Carson Wentz, he's gotten sacked more than any other quarterback in the league.
But do you think that's because Carson Wentz can't move? Because there's a lot of things that I saw from Jalen Hurts where he's escaping the pocket. Like, even in that little bit of time, he managed to get 5 rushing attempts from the quarterback position. So, like,
I think Carson Wentz can move. He might be a little bit more hesitant after that injury.
That's what I'm saying. Injury. Like, he hasn't played like the mobile guy, because that was one of the things that made Carson Wentz awesome during his borderline MVP campaign when the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Was before he got injured with the ACL injury, he was awesome at like escaping sacks and like throwing it under pressure and all that shit. And he has been god awful.
He's a pretty big guy too, so I'm sure that was probably helpful. Well, before we keep on, what do you got for the over and under, and what do you got for the spread?
I'll take New Orleans by 7, and I'll take over under. I'll take an over under of. Fuck. My heart wants to say. I think it's going to be lower. I'll say 45.
Oh, it's so I had Saints by 6.5, and I did halves for almost everything because I was like, I know halves are usually in play, so I just take advantage. And then over under 46. Oh wait, over under 46.5 and Saints by 6.5.
Yeah,
and it's over under is 43, and it's Saints by 7. So you got that.
Yes, dude, I got 2. Are you serious?
Liddy.
I should play the lottery or this.
Saints defense is in play though to me in this game. I can see them. I can see him throwing a pick. I can see him getting sacked. I can see him like maybe he's not going to get sacked as much as Carson Wentz, but
I was about to say with Carson Wentz, to me this is a smash at 38 because the Saints defense hasn't allowed 20 points in over a month. Do you realize that?
Oh yeah,
they haven't allowed 20 points in over a month. That's incredible.
What was the last mobile? Have they even won against a mobile quarterback this year? They haven't. So the only thing that might worry you about Saints defense is they haven't really won against a mobile quarterback this year. Like when you look at it, I guess the most mobile quarterbacks they've won against is Aaron Rodgers. Really?
True.
That's like so that could be their.
They haven't gone against a mobile quarterback. Yeah. Wow! Holy shit!
So if you just stand in the pocket, you can see why they get all those sacks.
That's odd at this rate of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you'd expect. Yeah, that's crazy.
You would expect
Aaron Rodgers is
somebody
most like the closest to a mobile quarterback, but he's also Aaron Rodgers, and he lit them the fuck up.
Yeah. And then but Oh man, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you might want to stay. I'd recommend now looking at that, staying away from Saints defense because you don't know what you expect. The only thing that you have for you is Philly's offensive line sucks ass. But
Yeah.
another thing is Philly has been known to generate some type of motivation when Carson Wentz gets benched. All jokes aside, Nick Foles, they fought for that guy.
There's
Maybe they're gonna fight for this kid.
logic to this, sadly.
Yeah, like and they actually made like shrines and shit years ago for Nick Foles, and they didn't want Carson Wentz in there. So like you had some guys that didn't really want Carson Wentz there.
Yeah.
So I don't think those guys are still in the team.
Yeah.
But that matters. Like
yeah,
if a team looked at you at that, especially when you're supposed to be their leader, if a team looks at you like that, like they might try to do something for this kid.
We'll see. And they played the whole team kind of played inspired once he came in the game. Like Rieger had that punt return for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Like the whole team. So there's definitely logic behind that shit. 100%. How do you feel about your main man, Alvin Kamara?
Don't play him. He's not worth 7,100. You could find way better guys for the bank to give you bang for your buck. I'm just praying he gives me 15 points.
How about this? This is a good question. Not for price or anything like that. Just saying straight up, no prices are a factor. Kamara or Dalvin Cook this week? It's ugly no matter what way you look at it.
Yeah, I have more confidence in Dalvin Cook getting 15 points than Kamara.
It's really close. I agree with you though. I think they're both in a similar spot, especially because Philly. That's the one thing that they do well is attack those running backs in terms of fantasy production.
So and the reason he asked me about Dalvin Cook and Kamara is because I traded Alvin Kamara pretty much for Dalvin Cook and a bunch of others. The worst trade I've ever had.
Yeah.
But it was specifically for this playoff run.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting to have fucking a tight end as my quarterback, so I'm fucked there. But I think right now, this week, it's gonna be pretty much a push. They might get almost identical points, and it doesn't matter. Yeah. But I think the next coming weeks, I get my money's worth for getting Alvin Kamara. Mind you, Alvin Kamara, having him throughout the season has won me weeks, so it doesn't matter. But I think he could, at best, he'll get you 15 points this week, and do not play him in DraftKings because I think it's a waste of money. And I hope that I'm completely wrong and he has an Alvin Kamara day.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely due. Like, in terms of, like, again, I'll say it for the 18th time. The fact that they don't do more read option with Kamara and Taysom Hill is confusing to me. At least he got more rushing yards this week. You know?
Yeah.
Like, at least he was able to get a couple more on the ground.
Yeah. The Eagles have played decent against the run this year. So, maybe that'll make Taysom have to throw it a little more, but I just don't see him throwing to Alvin Kamara. I see him throwing to Michael Thomas, and I don't like that because I'm going against Michael Thomas this week.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I wanted to mention to you. Does Michael Thomas have a good game with Taysom Hill, not against a team that's Atlanta? Because literally everything else but Atlanta, it's been bad. Yeah, I think so. I feel like he's gonna get like a 15-point game. That's another guy I probably would. For 7,100, I'm not expecting a crazy amount, but he might very well go off. It's just every wide receiver one that's played them recently has smashed. Dude, Taysom Hill is really like MVP Cam Newton light with the rushing. 10 rushes every game, 2 touchdowns, 80 yards. Quarterbacks who run like this are so fun for fantasy because you watch them and they suck, and then you finish the game and they're like, oh, they had 20 points. I have no idea how. Chargers going against the Atlanta Falcons. I cannot believe how badly Justin Herbert was annihilated in the last game. I can't believe it. So I really feel like every other game this season he's played fine. You know what I mean? So So I think that there's no reason why he's not going to have a bounce back game here. Against an Atlanta team that's just sucked against quarterbacks all fucking season. I love Herbert. Yeah, it was definitely they made like a conscious effort to shut down the run in Atlanta. They got stingy out of nowhere against running backs. I think it was right when they fired Dan Quinn. But you have Matt Ryan without Julio Jones. That's horrifying. Because every time Matt Ryan has played without Julio Jones, he has sucked. Like, inexplicably sucked. Like, it makes no sense why he sucks. Like, yeah, so I got to get through this mental barrier because if that's the case, right, then Todd Gurley at 4,800 is in a little spot ski. Todd Gurley's under $5,000, right? Todd Gurley's under $5,000 against the Chargers, who are horrible. 23rd, specifically against the run, right? And I don't think anybody's gonna fucking play this guy. If they're gonna give him a full workload, let's see. He was held out of practice Friday, but appears that was just for maintenance. Ugh. I don't like that, and it sucks because I have Kenyon Drake, who's also questionable on my season-long team, and it's either Todd Gurley or Kenyon Drake this week for me. Ugh. I hate this. I'm just gonna take I'm just gonna take a 0 or an L in that category. There's no getting around it for me. Fucking A. I think. But this stack, all things considered, could be money. If you go Eckler, Keen Dog, who's been just great all season, and then you want to do Gurley in a cheap spot, freaking am obsessed with this. I think this is fire. Like, yeah, because I feel like if something like this happens, where he gets another 10 target game, it's hard to see a world where like it doesn't. You know what I mean? So let me think. I got probably. I'll say the over-under is 55 or something high as fuck. And I'll say the Chargers by, I don't know, 3 points. Nothing. It can't be high. Both these teams are trash. Like, I can't. Why? I don't even. It's just because of that New England. Yeah, that New England beatdown and someone looking at Bill Belichick's work and going like copycat shit. That's the only thing. You're very right, and they should do it more often, in my opinion. Like if I was a head coach, I'd have no fucking shame. I would look right at that tape and I would go, "Oh, Bill, this is what you did," because I don't even know what he did to this kid. No one was able to stop him. No one was able to stop this guy from getting 300 yards or multiple touchdowns, and he said, "Fuck you! I'm losing both of them. You're not running. You're throwing for 200 yards. Like, it's easily his worst game by a mile." Like, Bill Belichick is a man of wonder. Yeah. So I definitely think Herbert bounces back here. And Todd Gurley, no one's talking about him. I could see him being a sneaky play here if he's really as healthy as they say. And you're taking a risk. He's under $5,000, so you're taking a risk. Well, Ridley's another $2 or $3,000 more expensive at 75. You know what I mean? And what do we know about Matt Ryan without Julio? Like, it doesn't. Ridley hasn't taken advantage as much as we hope in those situations. So it's just hard to justify choosing him. That's my thing. Like, I have a buddy that loves Calvin Ridley, and I just don't. I'm just not sold on the idea of him being productive in an offense on the road, traveling across country, and not totally without Julio. This team cannot play the same without Julio Jones for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's true. We're probably gonna go back to. We're probably gonna have to run through them when we do our lineup build. But finally, let's do this lineup. After all 13 games, I know for a fact we want guys in both the morning and the afternoon here, or both the early afternoon and late afternoon rather. So what do you wanna do for a primary stack? What do you like? Now, let this be a lesson to everybody that watches the show and everybody that is looking to get better at building lineups. This is one of the best lineups we've built on this show. And here's why. Literally everything except for Seattle versus the Giants here, everything is stacked and correlated. There's nobody in this lineup that isn't a bring back on something else. Just something it keeps the odds of somebody else having a lineup like this low, and you're really only guessing on 4 things. We're guessing on the Carolina game, right? We're guessing on the San Francisco-Washington game, right? And then we're guessing the passing game plays in Tennessee-Jacksonville, and the 4th one being the defense. And the most important thing, we have $1,000 of remaining salary left, but I am not even bothering with that. I think this is fine as a lineup. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any reason to creep up or build any differently. Sometimes when you have money on the table, it's okay to leave it. So I'm happy with this. Ryan Tannehill with the AJ Brown and Corey Davis stack. Bring back with James Robinson. J.D. McKissick with the bring back of Jordan Reed. And Tim Patrick with the bring back of Robbie Anderson. And Seahawks smashing those Jets. I'm proud of this. This is well done. This is fucking beautiful. Let's submit that shit. But for Apex Greatness, I'm Russell Browdery. That's Dario Albuquerque. And we are saying peace.